I'm just sitting here reflecting on 20 years ago today. Where was I? I was a OTR driver, over the road driver. I had just dropped in for one of the communities around Nashville, Tennessee. Driving a reefer truck. If you don't know what that is, a refrigeration truck. I was sitting at the truck stop. All of a sudden, my old flip phone rang and said, "Check your call com, sir." So I checked call com. It said, "You've been selected for a very special shipment. You're to contact safety immediately." Well, I contact safety, and the safety manager asks where I'm at, what truck stop I'm parked at, and then he says, "You have a fax going to be coming your way. Make sure you're topped off, fuel wise, and call me back when you get your fax." So I'm sitting at the truck stop. So I go to the fuel island. Immediately fill up, go inside, and I just said to the clerk, "Curiosity, my safety department's supposed to be faxing me something." "Yep, it's right here." Um, it was orders to go assist with Katrina. And you're asking, how does a truck driver help with Katrina? Well, it wasn't me they wanted. They didn't want the truck. They wanted the refrigeration unit. And you're probably asking, what would they do with the refrigeration unit? Well, I got all the documentation. I went back out to my truck. I taped the FEMA signs in the window, which I don't know if you know the rules around FEMA, folks, but when you get a FEMA load, you're exempt from truck driving weigh scales. You tape them to the windows because state police can't mess with you. Well, I rolled to the destination in Louisiana. It was a shopping mall. Well, when I arrived, there was a coordinator who pointed to a parking spot and said, "Park it over there. Make sure it's on this temperature. Leave the doors unlocked." I was like, "Okay, what else do I have to do?" "Nah, you might want to go get some." He was an old colonel from the military, and he said, "You might want to go get some chow." And he pointed to the chow line. He's like, "The Salvation Army feeds the drivers 3 times a day. They also do your dirty clothes for you. You just follow our directions, and you really don't have to do much." So the next morning, I wake up and went and got biscuits and gravy. I remember that like it was yesterday. And I was talking to the other drivers, and they're like, "Man, you're going to be so bored, you're not going to know what to do with yourself." Good thing I had my PlayStation in my truck because the reason I wanted the truck is now I'm hauling a refrigeration unit, and this is during recovery, folks. And you got to remember, down there they don't bury in the ground; they bury above the ground. Well, all those caskets floated up, and they had to stack them somewhere. That's why they wanted the refrigeration truck. So I sat in the same shopping mall for a week and a half, 2 weeks. One morning I woke up and they're coming around telling everyone to start their trucks. We're moving in a convoy. We literally moved 4 miles down the road to another shopping mall. Sat there for another week, and then we moved right back to the original shopping mall. Other than that, I sit in my truck, but I've seen things I didn't want to see. It's hard to believe Hurricane Katrina was 20 years ago, folks. Where were you during Hurricane Katrina? I was sitting in a KW 2000. I did have a lawn chair, so I was able to at least go out and sit in front of my truck when I got tired of playing video games or watching what little TV there was available. But that was when I was still driving. But there's been a lot of stuff that's happened that I no longer drive and regulations I don't agree with, um, such as now there's what they call the tattletale. That's what drivers call it, anyhow. It's the device that sits on your dashboard that tells you when to take a break. Hello, fish. Welcome. The pups are right beside me. I'll show Odie. He got up too fast. Come here, Ode. That's Odie. He's excited because Dad's talking to him. Did you get a cookie, Odie? They just have their treats. I live out in the country, so we don't see many vehicles out this way. Yeah, I live out in the country, and yes, that is directly across the street from my house. That's what I look at. I raise my two rescue dogs, who are very, very spoiled. Odie is an Australian Shepherd and very hyper. I'm thinking about adopting, folks. I'm thinking about adopting another dog. Also an Australian Shepherd. But this Australian Shepherd is special needs. She's blind and deaf. What do y'all think about it? I'm very seriously thinking about it. Um, I do have to catch her up on her uh, rabies shot and get her license up to date. Been thinking about it for a couple of days. It would mean a considerable amount of work on my behalf. And then, how do you introduce a dog like that to your current two that are very, very spoiled? I currently have Odie, who is an Australian Shepherd. He is 10 years old. I've had him for 6 years. But Dakota is 6 years old, and I've had her for 5 years. She's a Alaskan Malamute. How do you introduce dogs like that? I would have to get a kennel, put her in the kennel, and then leave her in the kennel for a while. I think that's the only way. And do you think people would want to watch a? Because I would probably start her own channel as well as let her be on this one as well. Do you think people would watch a channel of a deaf and blind dog and how we adapt life? Just some serious thought that I've been kicking around for the last like 5 days. Would you subscribe to that type of channel? That see, there's Dakota. Dakota, are you a good girl? And as you see, I have all kinds of dragonflies because I do have a container garden, and they're all over my closed-in dog run. Dakota's a good girl. Come here, Dakota. You want a cookie? You want a cookie? Look how pretty she is. Odie, stop. She's a beautiful girl, and she's very spoiled. She's 100% Alaskan Malamute. She is a rescue. She was super aggressive of her last owner's Grand Alaskan Malamute. And she's in charge. Odie does whatever she tells him to do. Literally. Dakota, Dakota, are you a good girl? You're a pretty girl, aren't you? So I'm kind of kicking in the idea of getting the special needs dog. But like I said, it would be a considerable uh, learning experience and time consuming experience. And yes, I do have a container garden. You can see my tomatoes are popping. I have a shipping container as storage. We live in a Amish style cottage out in the middle of nowhere. Our nearest store is over 7 miles away. My nearest grocery store, hardware, or anything like that is 18 miles away. The nearest thing to me, beside the dollar store, two gas stations, is the casino. We live on a dirt road out in the middle of nowhere, and it's peaceful. What you hear now is what I hear all the time, other than my TV that I forgot to turn down. I live out in the middle of nowhere. I live in central Michigan. It's probably, I don't know, about 75 today. But you can see Dakota's just chilling by herself. She is very much a daddy girl. If I move, she'll come running. But 20 years ago today, folks, I was sitting in my KW 2000. It's peaceful, nice and peaceful. Um, the only time I don't like it is um, twice this year, within 5 weeks of each other, we lost electricity two times for 5 days. So I bought a solar generator. So I'm prepared this next time. So yeah, being a former truck driver, all this stuff that's been in the news lately about truck driving in the United States, I'm rather concerned with, folks. I got out of trucking just as the illegal aliens were getting into it. And yes, folks, there are thousands of them. They don't speak English. Most of them can't understand English. And they don't understand rules of the road. So I just thought I would do a quick thing where I was 20 years ago during Katrina. Since then, I came home, sold my house downstate in a major city, and I moved up here, and it's so peaceful. And like I said, I do container gardening. As you see the plants behind Dakota, there's a tomato plant over there, and there's zucchini, and I actually have a zucchini, nice zucchini on currently. Then I have cucumber, I have leaf lettuce, I have 5 different types of regular tomatoes and cherry tomatoes. Now, if you're a fan of cherry tomatoes, tell me how you would like to have a cherry tomato plant like this one. Check out this. That's from the ground up the front trellis and almost halfway across the front trellis. And yes, folks, I'll get up close so you can see that there are tons of cherry tomatoes on this thing. And that's actually an acorn squash that's growing. See, my tomatoes are growing. Nice sized tomato there. A cucumber. Then a baby cucumber is growing and more tomatoes. My green beans didn't do so well this year. And then I have more cherry tomatoes outside. And you can see these tomatoes have really come along. So I have tons. Come on. And then I have acorn squash here. Tomatoes. My sunflowers didn't. I got them in too late, so they really haven't taken off. But I planted everything the way I planted it. Is we have a lot of hares in the area, wild rabbits, deer, raccoon. But the dogs are in this run, and wild animals typically do not come in this run. They're afraid of the dogs might get them. They can smell them. And then there's Dakota, who moved out here. I'm using my old phone to film with. I'm waiting on my camera to arrive. It should be arriving shortly. So I'm just waiting for it to be delivered. My nearest neighbor is a quarter-mile down to the road to the west. To the east, my nearest neighbor is over 3 miles. And to the north, my nearest neighbor is about a half mile. And he happens to be the brother of the guy that's to my west. The guy across the road, that's his hunting camp, and he lives about 20 miles away. And yes, I do have a chicken coop. We have almost 30 chickens. So I have fresh eggs, farm fresh eggs every morning. It's nice. I can come out and clip. Oh, speaking of the guy across the street, I do believe he's here. I can come out, grab some farm fresh eggs, clip a couple of my green onion tops off, get a couple cherry tomatoes, and make an omelet. And it doesn't cost me anything. It's free of charge. And yes, everything I planted will be preserved for the winter. And yes, it did get down to 42 degrees the other morning, yesterday morning, actually. Dakota, what are you doing? So that was just my quick little update. I appreciate everyone tuning in. I'm going to sign off, but thank you for watching. Thank you for hitting that like button. And if you haven't yet hit that like button, please do. Y'all have a good day. And if you like wildlife, look at my video where I filmed over 65 to 100 deer in one field within a half-mile of my place. Have a blessed day.